What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be doing a very late Monday Night Raw review. Now, I was supposed to be doing this review like 2 days ago, but I was a little bit busy over the course of Tuesday, so why not do it on Wednesday when there's really nothing going on? So, um, obviously, you all are going to know what happened on Raw. I just want to give my opinions on it real quick. And we're going to start with the Usos. The Usos started off Monday Night Raw, the Bloodline pretty much, because Roman's never there. Solo and Paul Heyman also came out with the Usos as well. And the Usos were cutting a promo on how they were going to go win on Friday or in a couple weeks on SmackDown, and they were going to beat Sami and KO. Until we got a little bit of an interesting twist. The Judgment Day came out, the entire Judgment Day, and we got this epic photo here of the Judgment Day staring each other down. You got Priest across from Jimmy. You got Rhea across from Solo, which we're going to get into in a minute. You have Finn across from Jay, and I guess you could say that Dom is going to go fight Paul Heyman. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, it was a pretty cool moment. Yeah, two of the biggest heel factions by like a load. It was a pretty cool moment. But though obviously the thing to point out of all this is Rhea and Solo Sikoa staring at each other. They were just staring at each other. And when Paul Heyman asked asked Jay to stand in the place of Solo, Rhea moved back over to try to confront Solo. So Rhea wanted to confront Solo the whole time, which I think is a really cool ass thing. It makes Rhea seem like the biggest deal in the Judgment Day, which is awesome. Just like Solo is kind of like the biggest thing with the Bloodline right now. You can say it's Roman, you could say it's Jay, you could say it's Jimmy, but Solo is on a tear right now. Rhea's on a tear. It makes sense for Rhea and Solo to want to beat each other up. And maybe down the line we'll see something with Rhea and Solo again. I think this is a teaser, to be honest with you. I hope this isn't I think this isn't the last segment we're going to see the Judgment Day and the Bloodline get into stuff, which is going to be very, very awesome. Next up, we got Rey Mysterio versus Solo Sikoa, which I thought was a very interesting twist again, but I like it. You know, the LWO, who doesn't mind the LWO on their screens? Rey versus Solo was a good match. We got a little bit of back and forth, but in the end, the Usos came out and distracted. The LWO came out and beat up the Usos, but the distraction was enough to let Solo hit the Samoan spike. 1, 2, 3. Solo Sikoa wins a great match with Rey Mysterio to start. And as you guys may know, the twist by now, it's not over after that. The Usos beat up LWO from behind, and the segment ended with the Bloodline standing tall. LWO laid out, which was to be expected. I mean, I don't know what LWO thought was gonna go down. They weren't going to be standing in the middle of that ring with Solo there and not get beat up. So overall, what a great start to Monday Night Raw. But next up is a personal bias to mine because Dakota Kai was in action. Thank goodness for that. Dakota Kai's gear was once again from WrestleMania. I love the gear. I don't care if she wears it for the next 5 weeks. I love Dakota Kai's gear personally. And her versus Bianca is a top level women's match on Monday Night Raw. It's absolutely a top level match. And you guys, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter right now, you guys can go follow. It's Crispy Wrestling. I make so many tweets when Dakota Kai is in action. So if you guys want to see videos about from the match or whatever, you guys can go see that. But at the end of the day, we all knew what was going to happen. Bianca Belair won, and it was a great match. Dakota Kai selling her ass off per usual. Dakota Kai getting enough offense in. So it was an offensive showcase of Dakota, which was the goal here because, let's be realistic, Bianca wasn't losing. But Bianca ended up winning. Great match. and Io giving Bianca a little stare down after the match as well. But, great match overall. But another image is this one. Io is staring down Bianca because of, Io and Bianca are facing off, hopefully at Backlash. I've said this during my podcast and stuff. Io versus Bianca needs to happen at Backlash and nowhere else. And Bayley looks legit concerned. Like, over the last week or so, Dakota's like, how about our opportunities? And Dakota did not carry out on her opportunity, unlike Io did. But, Bayley was looking kind of annoyed at Io. But meanwhile here, Bayley looks as concerned as she was about Damage Control losing as she was when they first started losing. So, I'm not the one to make assumptions, but, I would keep an eye on this. That's all I'm going to say. Next up, we got another great backstage segment. The Judgment Day were kind of chilling back there, talking. And then Paul Heyman walks out of nowhere, gives a stare down. The Judgment Day don't like that. Paul Heyman is specifically staring down Rhea here because she was not afraid of Solo Sikoa. So if no one's afraid of Solo Sikoa, that's going to get the attention of Paul Heyman. And you can see Finn Balor with his 14 staple shirt in the background. Paul Heyman basically came over, demanded the Judgment Day beat Riddle, Sammy, and KO, and said, you know what, we beat up Rey Mysterio, are you good enough? And Finn's like, which was a pretty, funny moment. But, the big thing to take away here was not that, it was Paul Heyman and Rhea, sort of staring each other down. And then after that, after Rhea told Paul Heyman to basically F off, Paul Heyman calls Roman Reigns. So, this segment left a lot to be asked about, but in a great way. Imagine a Rhea and Roman Reigns interaction at some point. That's going to be, so gold. That's going to be so much gold. What a damn promo here. So, after that, we got Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar. Cody Rhodes comes down to the ring. Epic segment. Epic promo once again. But before even Cody gets a chance to call out Brock Lesnar, the security guards come flying out. They want to stop him. Cody is calling Brock Lesnar a coward and all this. Brock Lesnar comes out, and he's basically in a Undertaker cosplay. He's got the black hat on. He's got the leather jacket on. Brock Lesnar's coming out like he's trying to copy the Undertaker, which is funny as hell. Cody and Brock don't brawl. I don't think we're going to get that yet. We still got a couple more weeks before Backlash, so we can still get a brawl. This was a good sort of starting piece to it, where Cody wants to beat up Brock. Brock's not having it. As the heel, he doesn't give a shit. So, yeah. But the main thing that we got out of this is that Cody versus Brock is set. It'll probably be the main event of Backlash more than likely. It should be the main event of Backlash. From San Juan, Puerto Rico, the Puerto Rican fans are going to get their money's worth. This is going to be an epic match. Obviously, we're expecting Cody to bounce back and win and beat Brock Lesnar. So, yeah, it's going to be a great match. But the main thing to take away from all of that on Monday Night Raw last night was that Brock Lesnar dressed up as The Undertaker in a cosplay, and we got Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar at Backlash. Great stuff. Next up, we got Seth Rollins versus Miz. And before, I was like, yeah, this match is going to be 2 minutes. It's going to be 5 minutes tops. Seth Rollins wins, blah, blah, blah. No, we got one of the best matches of the night between Seth Rollins and Miz. Miz got as much offense as we've seen him get in a long time, and I love that. I've been watching wrestling a long time. I know that the Miz can put on banger matches. He can put on 4 to 5 star matches, and this was no exception with Seth Rollins. This match killed it, and we found out that Hurricane Helms produced the match. Hurricane Helms, you are one of the GOATs, bud. Because Hurricane Helms turned Seth Rollins and Miz into one of the best things all night. Seth Rollins winning was academic, But, this match was so good, so unexpected in a good way. I loved it. And Seth Rollins winning. And it makes The Miz look good. It makes The Miz, Miz may be a jobber right now, but Miz fought his ass off. Next up, we got this funny backstage segment between KO, Sammy, and Riddle. Basically, KO is annoyed at Matt Riddle. Riddle wants to do all these hijinks with the bloodline. He wants to I believe Riddle wanted to like nut shot one of them or do something, I forgot. But you can see Sammy's face here. He's like, "Oh yeah, what did we get ourselves into here, Riddle?" KO is just like straight up like, "What are you doing?" Sammy, he can't say no. He says, "Okay, we'll look into this, Matt Riddle. We'll look into your little hijinks here." And KO is not having it. I just love these segments. I mean, I'm sure these segments are gonna be going on for the next couple of weeks, but I love it personally. It's gonna be pretty fun. Um, and I'm looking forward to this 6-man tag at Backlash. Next up, Trish Stratus, her first heel promo. I like the crowd during her entrance. And by the way, Trish's entrance was godlike. It made her seem like a huge deal, which she is a huge deal. She's one of the goats of women's wrestling. But she came in looking like a heel. Crowd was booing her heavily. But what I didn't like during the segment was the what chants, like her getting what chanted. Like that's pretty shitty crowd reaction right there. To do a what chant towards Trish Stratus during a promo like this is very weird. And you could say, "Oh, she's a heel. The fans could do what they want." They can boo, yes, because she's a heel. But my God, at least let her speak. They were booing, they were what chanting her. We could hear more of that than the Trish promo. And Trish's promo was awesome. I mean, Trish, did you expect anything different from Trish? She nailed every part of her promo. And she came at Becky, she came at the women's roster. It was fantastic stuff, but the crowd could have been a lot better, man. Next up, we got another women's segment, which was, Liv and Raquel were coming out with the women's tag team titles. Liv and Raquel look great with the women's tag team titles. And we got a match here, like a little bit of a short match. We got Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green, who are going to be challenging Liv and Raquel on Friday for the women's tag team titles, versus Michin and Candice LeRae. And if you may not been able to tell already, it was a quick, decisive win for Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green. I'm hoping that Michin and Candice LeRae get an opportunity for the women's tag team titles, because I like this team. I like them a lot. As a huge fan of NXT and a huge fan of the era that, when Candice and Mia were both in NXT, I want nothing but the best for Mia and Candice. I want them to eventually get an opportunity for the women's tag team titles. But Sonya and Chelsea won easily, and I think it was Chelsea Green, she splashed water in Liv's face, basically building up to the match on Friday, which is going to be good. Everyone knows that Liv and Raquel are going to retain, but I think the small little build here to it has been good. Next up, low key we got a hilarious segment here. So basically, we started off with Elias and Rick Boogs. They want to get drafted to the same brand. The Street Profits want to get drafted to the same brand. Yeah. We get that. But Baron Corbin comes in. He's like, you know what? You can get separated via the draft. Blah 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 blah. We got all that normal draft day storyline stuff. And then Akira Tozawa in a white shirt pops out of absolute nowhere and says, "Who would want you? Nobody wants you." And then I think he goes over to Elias and is like, "You're gonna be the last pick of the draft instead of the first pick of the draft." And then he goes over to Corbin and he's like, "No one wants you. No one wants to draft you." I mean, Tozawa just came in there and cracked me up. Like, I wasn't expecting Tozawa to show up. But this was gold. I love this. And along with Baron Corbin, I hope we get to see maybe Tozawa get drafted somewhere. And I can tell maybe that Tozawa is going to get drafted over Baron Corbin somewhere, and Baron Corbin's going to be a mess. Baron Corbin going undrafted is definitely what's going to happen. I could already tell that that's the storyline that's going to be in place already. And broke-ass Corbin could be back, question mark. Next up, we got the main event, which was going to be 6-man tag action. We got the Judgment Day. We got Sami, KO, and Riddle. Great ass main event. And obviously, we're going to take another look at the Finn 14 Staples shirt. If this goes on sale for WWE.com, I may have to oblige because I made all those tweets saying that Finn Balor was a warrior and stuff. Maybe I gotta pay it out by buying this shirt. But, this was a funny shirt. I'm expecting this shirt to only last like a couple of weeks, and it's probably not going to be on sale. If it goes on sale on WWE Shop, that's kind of a joke. But, this is a good, 2 to 3 week shirt maybe for Finn Balor to wear. Main event time. Main event was very, very solid. I mean, what were you going to expect between the Judgment Day and Sami, Riddle, and KO? It was awesome. It was going back and forth. And it looked like that the Judgment Day were going to potentially win. Finn Balor came the closest to winning. But Sami, KO, and Riddle both got up at the same time. And Finn Balor got pinned. Which, I personally don't agree with because, I'm a huge fan of Finn Balor. Should have definitely been Dom being pinned. But afterwards, the Bloodline were like, hell no, we want to brawl some more. So, they ended up brawling. And obviously, the Bloodline and Judgment Day are going to outnumber the Sami, KO, and Riddle. So, LWO makes its second appearance of the night, which I love. And this time, Rey Mysterio is ready to kick some ass. And he goes right after Dom. Rey hits Dom with a 619, which was my favorite part about all that. And an epic brawl ensues. 3-on-3-on-3. Such a great ending to Raw. It reminds me of how NXT shows used to end. Many of the Triple H era NXT shows just ended in all-out chaos. That's what this Monday Night Raw ending felt like, and it was so great. And, the show ended, LWO and, Sami, KO, and Riddle sending out a warning like, the Bloodline ain't going to bully anybody. We're going to stand up to you guys. And that was a great ending. And this storyline has got me intrigued. Great build towards the 6-man tag at Backlash, which is going to be the Bloodline versus Sami, KO, and Riddle. Can't wait for that. But, Monday Night Raw, once again this week, it was satisfying. It gets a pass for me. Maybe it wasn't as good as last week's episode. Last week's episode was really awesome. But this week's episode was really, really good. And especially due in part that Dakota Kai was in action. Even though she lost, super proud of Dakota as always. And, this was a great build to Backlash. We got 3 Backlash matches being made. We got 2 Backlash matches being made official. So that's good and all. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching the Raw review. And I will see you guys in the next video.